Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining. And today I wanted to do Technical Tuesday, the TA Elliott wave breakdown of the markets, and talk about a couple things because they're pretty interesting and something I want to talk about. So let's get started. And I want to jump on to a daily chart first of all, because that will allow us to see the most. So let me fix this chart real quick. It'll take a little bit of time. All right, so this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm going the wrong way. All right, let's get this chart set up. So this is pretty much the way I'm seeing it right now. I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by a fifth wave up here. Now, I don't think this downside is done, and I'm going to talk about a couple other charts that we can see that it might not be done. I still think that this bear market that we're in still has another 6 months to a year. I think there's still a lot of time involved. Some people thought that this was going to be the beginning of a move up, and a lot of times you can analyze a chart, but as humans we have biases, and a lot of times when we analyze charts, we allow our human biases to become part of that chart. And a lot of times we do it unconsciously, so we don't even do it on a conscious level. And because of that, we get some counts that just don't make sense. And we're like, okay, well, this has to be the bottom. So we create a bullish scenario, even though the probability shows that there really isn't one. And you can see this is the total market cap right here. We dipped under $1 trillion right now in the crypto market. We got above it, and now we're back below. And I do believe that this is either going to be the start of a choppy move higher. I'm going to talk about that in a couple other charts and why that can happen. Or this can be the start of a larger move down, and we'll have to see what happens on that. Now, the other scenario, we can call this 1, 2, 3. This could be our 4, and this could be our 5. Now, it's a little bit ugly, in my opinion, from my perspective, and that's why I don't have it on here as my primary outlook. But if this did start to come down and break some levels, then I would have to look at that, and that would be a break of $415 billion market cap for the crypto market. That would be quite bearish, and that is when I would change that tone. So I know I've heard a couple people like looking at the S&P 500 versus the crypto market. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that up. If you guys enjoy this, let me know in the comment section below. If not, I can go back to what I am doing regularly. So, either way is fine. And you can see with the S&P, this is the way that I have it counted out. I do Elliott wave. That's not my only mode of analysis. A lot of people get caught up in Elliott wave, and that's all they do. And they're like, okay, well, this wave can be a 1 or a B. And I'm like, well, a 1 is an impulse wave. A B is a corrective wave. 100% of the time, that's how those are. So, it is what it is. But anyway, not to get off on too much of a tangent, we have a 1, 2, 3, and coming into a 4. And then eventually it will go up into a fifth wave. I'm going to jump back down here into the hourly chart. You guys know I'm a big fan of hourly charts. I use them a lot. And I did get a question from a client of mine about what is better to use as far as time frames. I love looking at the daily, the hourly, and then zoom down to look at a better entry on a trade. And really, the best time frame is the one that resonates with your trading time frame. If you're a position trader, maybe look at the daily, weekly, monthly. If you're looking for a swing trade, 2 weeks to 8 weeks, you want to look at the hourly, daily. You can look at the weekly, but it's not going to be that helpful. So maybe a 15-minute hourly and a daily for that. If you're a day trader, obviously, going to be the 1 5-minute, maybe a tick chart, depending on what market you trade. So anyway, right here, so I said this was a 3, and Elliott, an impulse move is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where the 2 and the 4 are corrective pullbacks in that larger uptrend. It can also be a downtrend. You just reverse things, but right now we have an uptrend, and that's what I'm talking about. So an ABC is a corrective move. So if you get a move down, like right now, this could be an ABC. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little suspect. So ABC kind of makes the most sense to me. WXY, you could say that as well. That makes sense also. So going up, I have an A, a B, and a C right here. That's what I'm looking for, and it has not finished. So this line right here is super, super important. It doesn't say where it's at. So let me zoom in on it. 4,020 market has to stay above that. If it gets below that, it invalidates this count, right? So if it did get below, this would be instead of an ABC, this would be a W, X, and a Y, which is also a corrective pattern. So if this moves below that number I just said, it can either support down here and move higher, which would be in a corrective structure up, or it can bounce from here, come down one more time, which would be that support, and then it can start moving up. The other scenario is that this move starts a much weaker leg, which would make this a WXY and make this go into new lows. So it's very important that we actually do keep track of things. Looking at the S&P, I don't think really matters. No one really cares as far as a crypto is concerned. A chart is a chart is a chart, and I believe if you can trade one instrument, you can trade any instrument. If you can only trade one instrument and you can't trade any other instruments, you're not really a skilled trader. You're not a professional yet. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's my thoughts on that. If anyone cares about it, let me know in the comment section down below. Now I want to go to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is really what everybody looks at. Bitcoin and the S&P 500 have been correlated for a long time. Ever since people really started looking at Bitcoin as a real instrument, it's been correlated to the S&P 500. Risk on, risk off. Same with the S&P 500. Why is that? Well, a lot of your big money, they don't really know how to categorize cryptocurrency yet. So Bitcoin, they call the digital gold, but it doesn't trade like gold. It trades like common indices like the S&P 500 because they don't know how to evaluate it. Eventually, and I think maybe the next couple years, that correlation is going to decouple. But right now, it's a correlation, and it's going to be so until it's not, just like anything else in the world. So this is Bitcoin. This is what I'm looking at, this move up that we have right now. You saw the S&Ps move up. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a move up, and this move down exactly the same as the S&P. Slightly different. Obviously, the numbers are different because this is trading in the 20,000s. S&P's down at around the 4,000s. But I have this WXY structure. Now, there's a difference. Right now, how I'm looking at it, this would be an A, a B, and a C. And this can come down one more time to make one more low to complete this pattern. And if it did, it would be totally fine. It would be totally okay. And then I would be looking for a possible bounce. It can bounce from here. That would be totally fine. And then we could find some resistance once it bounced. And from there, it's possible it can come down and make one more low. And then it can start moving up in a choppy fashion. The other scenario is this Y would be over here. You can argue X, you can throw it up here. It doesn't really matter. But if you throw your Y over here, then that makes this an impulse down, which means the majority of the time you get a corrective move up followed by another impulse down, and this is going to new lows. So that's where we're at right now. There's a big crux in the market. Is it going to find that support? Is it not? And these next few days going into next week is really going to tell that story of what happens. I do expect a corrective move up either now, or it can make one more low and then do that corrective move up. I will probably be looking to trade that. And then once it does, I'll be looking how that move happens. It'll turn into a great short up here, and then write it down. And then if it does get super weak, then we're looking for new lows. The Y should be over here. And if it doesn't get super weak, it'll move strongly down either way, I think. At least that's how it is right now in my head. And then find that support and then start moving up. And if so, the Y should be over here. So that's the only difference in this count. You don't have to be an Elliottician to be able to read the markets, but you know, it helps sometimes. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. If I zoom out, some levels to watch for, these exact same levels. And keep in mind, 13,880 would invalidate my overall Bitcoin count right now. So if it does make new lows, it should stay over that anyway. And I'm looking at 16,107. I would expect it to break 18,000. 17,247 is a level. I would expect it probably to break that as well. If it's going to be weak, then you're probably looking anywhere from 16,107 to 14,847. So that is a little weak, a little dire, but that's what I'm thinking. Let me go out here to the daily chart really quickly, just because I want to point out a couple things. So let me do that. And I know I do jump around a little bit when I'm talking about charts, talking about the market, but a lot of times, and especially for me, I started doing these videos because it helps me. I do them anyway myself, but some others kind of like them a little bit and ask me to do them, and that's why. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right here. So the big difference, if this does go higher, which is what I'm thinking, and then it rolls over and comes down again, that would be inside of probably 6 months to a year. Now, if it does come down again, it can still come up and then come down again. That can still happen, even if this makes another low. That's totally fine. Just like if it supports here, it would be totally fine. Now, if the S&P is going into that fifth wave structure, then most likely this move down, that was an ABC, and then this can actually start a more of a corrective move higher while that S&P hits that fifth wave, and then everything can start to pull back after that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with Bitcoin. I'm still keeping this count in my mind. The other scenario would be that this could be the end of this impulse right here. This impulse could end here, which makes this entire move a corrective move and probably last 6 months to a year, like I said, but it can come down a little bit more if that is the case. So, you know, just a couple things to point out. Next, let's go to Ethereum. Let me fix this chart here. All right. I don't really have anything drawn on it, but I do have this invalidation level at 366.29. So anything below 370 scares me to death. If it keeps moving up, that would look totally fine. And let me we can look at this the same way as Bitcoin, as this being the 3 and this ending in a 4, or this ending in this impulse being done here, and then this whole move just being corrective. So that's the larger chart. Let's jump down to the hour and talk about a few things. This chart would work. All right, here we go. So we talked about Ethereum several times. You know, we got long down here, got out up here, or got out mostly up here. And now it's coming down. What is happening? Well, we're getting that move up, and it is corrective so far. It's definitely a corrective move so far. And if we zoom in on here, we can see just that. It's definitely a little corrective here. And Ethereum can do the same thing that Bitcoin is doing. So you had this move up. This could be your WX and your Y. This could be an ABC. Count it however you want to count it. It doesn't really matter. This seems more corrective to me than impulsive up. So most likely WXY, that's totally fine. Price is coming down. Now you're going to get that move up, and then you're probably going to get that move down again and support somewhere in here, if that's what's going to happen. If it's going to find support, that's where it should find it at. So that's what I'm seeing with Ethereum. It's going to be very interesting. And I do have a Discord coming out. I'm going to start posting some charts in there. So if that's exciting to you, let me know in the comment section below. And, that would be kind of cool. So let me know if that's something that excites you. Let's jump to ADA or Cardano. And you guys know I'm pretty heavy in Cardano as far as in their NFTs and everything. I just like them. I've never bought any other NFT, only Cardano, but I do trade just about every crypto. If you can name a crypto, maybe I have traded it. So this is the short-term look of Cardano, and I know this looks a little ugly. I'm going to go out to the larger chart in a minute, and I do a top-down approach when I'm trading, when I'm analyzing charts. That's what I do. But if I already have them analyzed and I already have my thoughts on the charts, then usually I just look at them and go from there. But this is July 13th right here, this low, July 13th. And today is August 23rd. So this move up I'm counting as a W. This move down in an X, and this up in a Y. And you can see I had this box here, and price went in it and then just dropped. So that's very interesting there. You could, obviously short on this move up here. That's a great trade. And now price came down just like Bitcoin, but unlike Bitcoin, it was definitely a weaker move, this choppy action. Whereas Bitcoin was a little stronger and Ethereum was a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, Cardano was weaker than both of them. So now you have this move down, and the same exact pattern in Ethereum and Bitcoin is what's going to play out in Cardano. So you have this move down. Okay. Well, unlike those other two, this is just a move down, and it's super strong. So what we can see is either a move up and then a move back down for support, or this could be the start of something much weaker. So that's what I'm seeing there. Let me jump out to the daily chart now that I've said all of that. I feel like I need to drink a lot of water after saying all that. So let me fix this chart real quick. And there's a lot of stuff on the charts, but we can kind of see it. You can see price in here. So I'm looking at Cardano as this impulse from this, and this was, for the record, March 13th. So since March 13th of 2020, this impulse is complete, at least the way I'm looking at it. So this move down is in a 2, which so this is an A, B, and C hasn't quite completed yet. We could say that it has. We could also say that it hasn't. We can call this a W, X, Y, whatever you want to call it. I think that there's a good possibility that this could find the support here and start to push up like everything else. However, just as likely, we can see Cardano kind of show some more weakness since it's weaker than Bitcoin or Ethereum. We can see this weakness last for a little bit longer. A lot of projects and things right now are trying to put a black eye on Cardano, I guess to say, and it's not really too cool. We're in the next 10, 20 years, a lot of cryptocurrencies are going to go to zero. We're going to have many more Luna events, and I don't say that to scare people. That's a fact. It's going to happen. I think Cardano is very strong, and I don't see that happening with Cardano. All the ones that I talk about, your Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Matic, or Polygon, BNB, I think those are going to be around. I don't see them going away. If any of those went away, we would have bigger problems, I think. So I think those are pretty stable. Solana, I don't really follow it. I don't like it. I just, look at it because I have some friends who care about it. And XRP, I could really care less. I look at it because, people like it and it's in the news. And if somebody asks me to look at something, I'm going to look at it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. That's what I do. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about with Cardano. Sorry about the tangent, but it is what it is. So now let's go to Polygon or Matic. And this one is actually looking interesting. Let me fix this real quick. So we have the daily chart to look at. And right now I'm seeing this as a completed impulse. And now we're moving down. Okay. And then moving up a little bit from there. So let me jump down to, since this is an impulse, 7 cents is a possibility on Matic, 7 cents. I had 31.5 cents, 31.5 cents as a line here, but it could have gone all the way down to 7 cents. I don't think it goes that low, but I'm thinking 18 to 30 cents could be a possibility if it does actually come back down. So now, with that said, let me jump to the hourly chart, and while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to get a drink. All right, and let's zoom in on this. So this is the structure from June 19th. So June 19th, I'm seeing this as an ABC up, which is a corrective structure. It would be difficult to call this an impulse, in my opinion. Some people do. It would be difficult for me. Now, this move here looks like an impulse to me. This fifth wave, it barely or not really got above the 3. That's fine, though. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. So I'm looking at that. So let me go ahead and delete this, because the impulsive count looks to be correct. So this could be an ABC here, which is fine. But then you're having all of this corrective movement over here, which could be like an A, a B, and a C. That would be totally fine. So if you do have that, what am I looking for? Well, this move right here is corrective, and I do think that probably around, it could come up to like 90, 92 cents, something like that. I'll look at it a little closer in a few days and see if I can make a trade on it. Right now it's ugly, but if it comes up there, it can sell off and make another low. which would be totally fine. And right now, I would be 62, 65 cents. That's what I would be thinking in my head. But it would need to come up a little bit and then come lower. If it just drops from here, I'm going to have to look at it a little bit differently. So, we'll see what happens here with Matic. But right now, it's looking decent. It's, this move is kind of completed. This entire move right here is kind of completed. So we're looking for this next move. And now I'm really thinking it comes up a little, comes down a little bit, and then it can possibly find support from there. So we'll have to wait and see and kind of go from there. I don't think this pattern is impulsive at all. I think it's very corrective. So that's what makes me think that this can come up and come down again and find that support, and then, maybe move up again, maybe just go sideways. We'll kind of have to wait and see with Matic. But right now, it's not really that clear with Matic. So let's go to Solana. And Solana is loading a little slow, which is fine. So Solana, I wrote on the charts, and let's see what this is doing. So this is a corrective move up, followed by a corrective move sideways, followed by corrective move up. So this down here to this can be a completed move. That can be a completed move, which means this is not quite completed. We need to see one more low, and then this could be the start of something possibly to the downside. The only other scenario, it would be very difficult, but this sideways action would be the start of this sideways action, and then this move down could be the finished part of this beginning of the sideways action. And that's a little hard to digest. That's a little bit much. Let me go out here to the daily chart, just because the time seems astronomical. So I do want to go to a daily to get a little better of a time frame on this. Yeah, let me zoom out on this. And I guess I can get this. So I can say, so technically, if this stupid thing will go off the screen, technically this sideways action could be playing out. It's ugly. It's very hideous. It's super, super hideous. So this could be our A, and this could be A, B, C, and a B. And that's an extremely long B wave, and it just doesn't make sense to me at all. But it could be happening. I don't think that's what's happening. I think this is just a larger group of very complex corrective structures. So as this comes down, I want to see when it comes up what it can do, but I wouldn't call this the end of the structure. I guess technically we could kind of call it that, but it just doesn't make sense to me. The time's so different, just doesn't make sense. So when it comes down, it can come back up and then come down again. And when it does, look for it to come very close to these lows probably. And if it's going to be the start of something, you're going to see this corrective move up, and I'm definitely going to short that. I know I just say I don't really trade Solana that much, but it looks like a great trade. So I'm going to jump on that. I'm gonna keep an eye on that and see what is going on. So now Binance Coin. Binance Coin, I'm definitely a fan of Binance Coin. And Binance Coin is similar to Ethereum in a sense, where you have this move up, you have the sideways move, and then you have another move up. So this is, I will say it kind of is important that this low holds right here and then goes to a new high. I'm thinking it's probably just going to chop sideways and come down a little bit, which would make this structure look very corrective, which is fine. That's what I would prefer anyway, because it means we're probably going to see it come down eventually. So that would be totally okay with me. And then, you can get a better entry on BNB in a long-term position trade. So at the moment, it's kind of unclear. If it does come down here and snap this low, let's call it 276, that would be kind of interesting. And then we'll have to, just wait and see what it looks like after that. Let me go to an hourly chart really quickly on this. Okay, and this is where we are at. This is very short term here. You can see this move actually does look kind of good. It comes down, it comes up, it's going to come down again. And if this does support somewhere between 281 and 285, 287, so between 281 and 287, and really the only thing that invalidates it is a break below this low. So this low is 277. So as long as it stays above 277, then we're looking for, I would say, minimum 309 and possibly 323 to 360. So, if this bounces around, goes sideways, and then comes down, and it needs to do it soon. The more time it takes going sideways, the worse it is going to look as an overall pattern to come down and be support. It's already kind of gone pretty far, but that's going to be interesting there. Let me zoom in on everything else. I don't know what's wrong with these charts today, but they load so slow. So this move up is the best out of all of the charts we've looked at. And now you want to see a little bit more strength, which you're not seeing with this move down. If this would have kept going up, that would have been more strength. Now that it's come down, you're not really seeing that much strength. And now, if this were to just keep chopping around, maybe go up a little more, and then it can come down and find that support wherever it might be. But right now, it's kind of sideways. I don't really see a lot in BNB right now. So there's nothing in BNB that actually excites me right now. So I would just wait on the sidelines and see what's going to play out with BNB. Now let's go to XRP. XRP is basically been going sideways since its inception. It did go up a little right when it came out, and then it's just been going sideways. So this is June 22nd here, which was the low, and you can see it's been going sideways, and we can see like this could be, let's see, like a W, an X, and the Y should be up here. All right, so this is a corrective structure, WXY, and this looks just like an A and a V and a C. That looks totally fine. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And now, what is this most likely to do? Most likely, it will start moving up. And 43, I'd say 42.5, 43, 46, somewhere in there. That should be the target of this with this move right here. And we'll have to really see what happens. The reason it's a WXY, if you have any questions, this is an A, a B, and a C. So a Y is a corrective ABC inside of that structure. That's why it can't be an A, a B, and a C, because C is always a 5-wave impulse pattern, unless it's in some weird triangle. So the majority of the time, C would be a nice 5-wave corrective. I mean, a 5-wave impulsive structure. A Y is an ABC, very corrective structure. So that is that. Let's go to the daily really quickly, just because I know a lot of people like XRP. So if I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you my thoughts and give as much information as I can. I'm not the type of person just to talk about something for the sake of talking about something. So like I said, XRP went up a little bit, and then it's just been going sideways the majority of its life, or the majority that the token's been out, whatever. So the first time I looked at this, I said it could do two different things. So you can have your A up here, your B, and then a C, or you have your A, your B isn't finished yet, and then you have your run up to a C. And I was thinking that second scenario, that the B is not finished yet, is probably the most likely scenario that we have. The other scenario would be this ABC actually is a WXY instead, and this is an A, a B, and then you're going to get your C, because this could be your A, your B, and your C, which ideally needs another low. So maybe this chops around, comes up a little, and then rolls over to the new low, and then it can move up. But most likely that's not what's going to happen. It's not going to go from 22 cents to $4 unless there's a piece of really, really big fundamental information. Something happens with the trial. Maybe they get a little bit, a piece of SWIFT in another country. It's going to have to be a big piece of news that drives it. It's not, just because the technicals say it can happen. Moving from 25 cents to $3, $4, it needs to have a big piece of information behind it. And if it is going to do that, it's already going to move in that direction prior to that fundamental piece of news coming out. It's not going to be making new lows and then that news come out and then you just buy it at the lows. That would be super rare. It could happen, but it would be a super rare event. Usually, if you do get a good piece of fundamental news, price is already moving prior to it coming out. So that's what I'm looking at with XRP right now. It's probably a decent trade, like if you can jump on it and write it up to that zone that I talked about. But I'm not going to trade XRP. That's not my jam. That's not something I'm looking for. If it were to come down, much lower, like 13 cents and below, I might get a flyer on it because it's so low. I mean, throw a couple $100 in it and it can turn into, exponential from that. So anyway, those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, throw a like on it. If not, throw a dislike. I appreciate the feedback. So, however you feel, I appreciate it. Of course, if you have any suggestions, I have my Discord coming out soon, and I'm going to post my charts in that Discord. If that's something you'd enjoy, let me know. And then I know that you know, there's actually people who would enjoy that. I would enjoy something like that, so I would have fun doing it. So anyway, that's out there. It's probably going to be maybe a week away. So I mean, it's pretty close to actually happening. So anyway, with that, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the crypto markets. Have a great day.